Welcome to the Whitetail Watch produced by Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It's another beautiful morning here in northeast Iowa. Not as cold as it's been, but definitely seasonal. Now let's look ahead to this weekend's forecast, and we'll talk about the behavior of the deer as we enter this early phase of the rut. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail app, Whitetail Institute, research equals results, B3 releases, XO broadheads, exact sights, and Hoyt. We've been playing these cold fronts all the way through October. There's an eagle. Wow, that's pretty cool. Check this out. Not exactly sure what it's carrying, but swinging over pretty low. We got a lot of eagles here along the Mississippi River. So getting back to the theme here, I think now is the time when we start to disregard the weather a little bit more, because now the behavior of the bucks is going to be really more strongly influenced by the stage of the rut than anything else. I've had some really good hunts in late October, even into early November, with warmer than normal temperatures. So don't let the weather patterns shy you away from hunting now. The behavior, like I said, is going to be primarily dictated by the rut. So let's look at what we can expect this weekend. We've got, again, let's just throw the weather out, but it's going to be decent. I mean, reasonable temperatures throughout the entire Midwest, as far as I can tell. The behavior, the bucks are now starting to ramp up their physical search, or at least checking status on does. It's going to continue to increase just little by little as the rut goes on, but now they're starting to look a little bit, and they'll be more active in the mornings than what they've been. So I think starting this weekend, it makes sense to start hunting mornings if you haven't been. 25th of October has long been my start point for morning hunting, or to at least consider it. When would you hunt mornings? Why would you hunt mornings? I just think if you've got an area where, especially where there's a lot of timber, a lot of cover for the deer to be back in moving in the mornings, that's a green light. I don't think I'd hunt mornings around field edges now. I think that's just, you're just flirting with trouble there, because you're going to bump the deer when you go into those spots. So unless you're going in the back door, coming in away from the direction where the deer are feeding, into an area closer to where they're more likely to be bedding, that's definitely a good morning strategy. I would hunt the fringes of those bedding areas. I wouldn't be real aggressive now as far as getting right into the middle of them. But the travel routes in and out of those areas should be good. I mean, like I said, I've had some really good hunts this time of the season, hunting that pattern. For afternoon hunts, I think I would stick, if you're already in the bedding area, you might as well stay. I mean, you got the weekend, unless you have things that you have to do. You might as well stay in there, because the afternoons can be good back in those areas too. Usually the action will die though about an hour before the end of legal shooting time. The deer get up, they start moving towards the food, and everything sort of goes dead back in those bedding areas. But if you're out of the field and you're trying to figure out where to go for the afternoon hunt, I don't think I'd go into a bedding area at this time, or up onto say a hardwood ridge, unless it's windy. If it's windy, then you can sneak into those spots in the afternoon, but otherwise I'd avoid going into those areas for an afternoon hunt, because there's too much risk of bumping deer that are bedded there. Instead, I'd be hunting the fringes, really more again in the direction where the does are going. Where are the does feeding? That's where you'll see the bucks. And this is not prime time rut, but if you're hunting in an area where there's a mature buck that you're targeting, or any buck that you're after, you're more likely to see him where the does are at now, than you would just going into the isolated areas. He's moving towards those spots, not necessarily to breed or to chase the does or any really serious rutting activity. It's more just, it seems like in my experience, he's just checking things out, checking out the status of the does, just maybe stretching his legs and covering some ground, freshening a few scrapes. This weekend would be really good scrape hunting. This weekend and really the several days that follow it up until early in November is a prime scrape hunting time. If you've got good fresh scrapes, you know, you can tell they're being hit regularly. Those are good spots for morning or evening hunts. And again, I wouldn't hunt the field edges in the mornings, but for an afternoon, you know, a heavily used scrape along the edge of a field would be a pretty awesome spot to sit. That's what I'd be doing. In fact, that's what I will be doing. So if you keep watch on the Boning Whitetails series, you'll see some of the action that we have here hunting these same patterns. Well, good luck to you. I think it should be, like I said, it should be a good weekend, and then the week after, it's going to look really good too. So just stick with these same patterns. You know, from my, like I said, from my experience, that's been the most effective way to hunt them. And then once we get further into the prime or the, you know, the really more intense rut, I'll bring out a few more other suggestions. But this should get you going for now. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you back here again in another week for the next episode of the Whitetail Watch, produced by Hoyt's Bow Hunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.